everyone, today is December 23rd. Tomorrow is Christmas Eve, and I hope many of you have completed your Christmas shopping. If not, like myself, we save days like tomorrow, Christmas Eve, as the time to shop and see what's left over and just try to get everything done while we can. Late shoppers, are we? Anyway, you're listening to JN Radio. My name's Dennis Heyman, a.k.a. Kennedy, podcasting from Lemoore, California, and you just heard that intro from TRF, and that was from 1994. The song is called Samui Yoru Dakara from the World Groove album. Today is a special Christmas episode of JN Radio, and I figured, although we're doing our best of this week, I figured, I think I could speak right now. My cold is almost gone, and what the heck, give it a try. If you hear my son coming, he likes to join in during these podcasts. He has this thing where he wants to be like Daddy, and he'll put on the headphones and he'll talk on the mic. So that's Christian for you. One of the reasons that we haven't had a podcast for Metro Media Complex and JN Radio recently is because this past Friday we had a little fright. His fever went up to 105, and he had a fever seizure, and it was just a terrible situation for my wife. And she has never experienced him being so sick, and rushed to the hospital by the paramedics, and they found out he had pneumonia and ear infection, lower and upper respiratory infection, and he's a tough kid. He's going on 2, but it was a very, very long weekend. But if anything, he's doing well. So I'll be talking about the recent pop vox on Japan Today. Japan Today's Sachi Kanda dropped into Omotesando to ask people, what does Christmas mean to you? And do you know the real meaning of Christmas? And there are some surprising answers, or not so surprising if you are familiar with Japan culture. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and start off with Oda Yuji and Butch Walker for a 2004 song titled Last Christmas, which is the theme of his drama of the same title. And that's currently number 1 in Japan, with the ratings about 22-25% according to Video Corp, which is like Nielsen's. And it's doing well for the television drama season, even though the TV drama season is kind of blah. But anyway, here is the Wham cover with The First Snow from their album Snow Garden from back in 1990. No, actually 1990. Wow, no, it's an old one. Before that was Angel Eyes by the bands and artists of SM, and it's from the Christmas in SM Town album, the third of their SM Town Christmas series, and that was a K-pop song. Before that, it was Last Christmas by Oda Yuji and Butch Walker, and you're listening to JN Radio. As I said earlier, there was a Pop Vox, which is a sort of poll or questionnaire that they ask people in Japan in different cities of just different questions that they share on Japan Today. And the most recent one is, what does Christmas mean to you? And do you know the real meaning of Christmas? And here's one answer from Junji Mizumura, age 28. I've never thought of what Christmas really means. I don't think the day has any special significance for me. What I know is that I do not like to get a gift for my girlfriend on a day that is meaningless for two people who do not believe in anything. Anyway, I don't get why we need to celebrate the day on the anniversary of Christ's death. Fernando, who's 27, says, I know that Christmas is the birthday of Christ. As for me, it is a special day when people get together with family and friends. However, Japanese people do not think of the day as a religious event because they are most likely atheists. Therefore, Christmas seems like a second Valentine's Day in Japan. Japanese just enjoy the fancy Christmas trees, decorations, and the mood. They are happy just to think, oh, it's cool. So the actual meaning isn't so important to them. I have an interesting story, actually, by reading this, and I think it was back in 1997 or 1998. We tend to have college students, foreign exchange students from Japan, staying at my home, and I think it was before Christmas. It was like several weeks before Christmas, I think, and it was one of those, I think it was a Mormon or Jehovah's Witness a duo who came up to the door, and one of our students, Yuko, answered the door, and they said they're preaching the word of I think they're preaching, or they wanted to, you know how they usually are when they knock on the doors, and Yuko answered, and she said, can I help you? And they were like, are you religious? Do you believe in God? And she's like, no. And they were like, what? What do you mean? You don't believe in God? She's like, no. And they're like, are you interested in learning about God? She's like, no. And they were just like dumbfounded. And so what happened was, I came to the door, and they were like, yeah, I'm surprised. They're like, how is it that she doesn't believe in God? And I said, well, it's part of the Japanese culture. A lot of them, there's people that do, but there's many people that don't. They're not, they're not exposed to religion as much as we are here in the U.S., because over there's multiple religions, and they tend to combine a lot of things from religion, so it's a little bit different. The culture is a bit different. So within I think a week later or so, the interesting thing is they actually brought people from Japan who were Mormons or Jehovah's Witnesses to our home, to actually get our Japanese students to accept religion, and that was really interesting. So he one of the guys came to our door, and I came out saying, so what brought you here? And he said, oh, we were told that you have Japanese students staying here, and I'm from Japan, and so what happened is, during our conversation, we're talking in Japanese now, and the others who were there next to him, they have no idea what we're saying, and I don't know what happened. Through that time, we were discussing. I think they thought we were discussing the Bible or their religion, philosophy, and what we were talking about is actually Tetsuyo Komodo and Amuro Namie, and it was just, we were like talking about Globe and Japanese dramas, and they had no idea what we were talking about, and pretty much the conversation, it probably lasted around maybe 20 minutes or so, and we were just talking about Japanese pop artists, and the conversation just ended that way. And he says, it's nice to meet you, and he's all happy to see someone who is non-Japanese so into Japanese pop culture. And I said, well, good luck with you, and wish you the best, and trying to find Japanese to convert to your religion. And the guys that were with him, like, oh, okay, yeah, great, and hopefully your students will be interested. We'll come back next time. So, but they never came back. But anyway, that was an interesting story right there. Going back to the Pop Fox now. Let's see here. Seiji, 21. Christmas is a day for big events and fooling around with acquaintances or with my girlfriend. I don't know why it became such a day in Japan. It is originally the birthday of Christ, right? Masanori, 19. Christmas is a day to enrich your relationship with your loved ones, I think. And the real meaning, it's Christ's birthday, isn't it? And that was Masanori Kaoru, who's 19. It's a day that you have to do something good because it's Jesus Christ's birthday. Michael, 24, says, Christmas for me means quality time with my loved ones. As for the real meaning of Christmas, that's when you can see Santa Claus. Well, we'll get to more of these answers, but coming up next is the Winter Queen herself, from Japan. They call her the Winter Queen because that's when she usually releases a song, and it's usually dealing with Christmas or the winter. And the song is called Mafuyu no Karimachi. And it's by Hirose Komi from her Love Which I pronounce as Milk. And it's from the Winter Vacation in the SM Town album. And that was from 2002, the third in the series. And before that was Hirose Komi with Mafuyu no Kaeri Machi from the Love Winner's Best album. So check those albums out if you can. Just want to talk about the Christmas episodes that were podcast yesterday and the day before. You may have noticed that there were some problems with some glitching with certain songs, especially with that first Christmas episode, and then the second one near the end of 2 songs. What happened there was for Sound Studio, for the Mac, for that beta version that was used during that time, the creator, Lucius Kwok, who created the software, knew there were glitches, and he apologized for that, and he came up with an update which fixed everything. So that was during a time when the software was at beta, and for some reason it could not handle large files. So somehow certain audios would get placed in certain different areas, and it was just it just didn't sound right. So I apologized about that. By the way, have any of you received your PSPs? A lot of news about how certain PSPs are selling for around $400 to $500. Geez, that's like twice the price of what it's being sold for, because it's hard to get, and for Christmas people want them. So there are some stores in Akihabara that are selling it for twice the price, and they sold out. So there is a big demand for the system. Interesting that if you read on Engadget.com and certain video game pages, there are some problems with the PSP, which I discussed in the early episode, but I think it's going to be I still believe it's a great system, and I'm curious if what changes, or if there are any changes before we receive them here stateside. So I'm really excited about that. In terms of the Nintendo DS, I haven't really played any games that really took advantage of the system yet, aside from Feel the Magic. I just purchased, I purchased a few weeks ago, which I talked about in earlier JN Radio, Sprung, which is a dating sim, similar to a lot of the Japanese dating sim games, and beat that one. And it's actually pretty fun. You can check out my review on GameFAQs, GameFAQs.com, under DS, under Sprung. You can read my review on that. And also purchased the Final Fantasy 1 and 2 for Game Boy Advance, and I love the first game. It's been a long time since I played it, and I heard there were some enhancements, so I look forward to playing that one. I think I just only completed like 30 minutes. I just don't have the time to play it, but I'm a big fan of the Final Fantasy series, so knock on wood that I get some time to play that during these holidays, seasons, this holiday season. My English is bad today. 私の英語悪いですね. I have a question for you guys. Have you ever, when someone from speaks to you in a foreign language, and when you speak back, somehow you start speaking in Japanese? Well, recently I was at a store, and a guy started speaking in Spanish. And granted, I took Spanish class back in junior college a long time ago, and I can remember maybe 3 lines, one word, sacapuntas, which is a pencil sharpener. But anyway, he asked me, was asking me some question which I really didn't understand, and so I don't know what the hell went wrong. I just started speaking in Japanese, and he started looking at me. He started speaking Spanish. I started talking Japanese. I'm like, why am I inside my head? Like, why am I trying to? I'm trying to answer this guy in Spanish with little Spanish that I know, and yet I'm speaking in Japanese. And that was just interesting. I'm like, what the F am I doing? But, such an unusual time, anyway. Anyway, let's get back to this pop box from Japan today. And this one is Makoto, who's 21. And he says about Christmas, I know that for some people, Christmas is a celebration of Christ's birthday and a time for being with family. However, to me, it is just some kind of event day. Although I've got nothing special I would like to do this Christmas besides possibly hooking up with some of my friends and getting drunk. Hiroshi, 26, says, Christmas is my annual occasion to get seriously romantic with my girlfriend because it's a day on which my fantasy can come true. Good going, Hiroshi. And, of course, you can check this out on Japan Today, on japantoday.com on their pop box section. And a lot of good replies from people who read this. And, fortunately, I think usually when I read the comments, they're usually negative, but you can check that out. But anyway, I think this episode's kind of going long here, so I'm going to end the episode with an oldie from Pizzicato 5. And the song is called From Party to Party, and it's, from an old album. I think it's, let's see here, Pizzicato Mania. I wonder if that's the album. I'm looking at it right here. It's one of those really oldies. Well, what year is this anyway? It says here it's made in 1996, but I think it was made before that, right? 1994. Okay, sounds good. Anyway, I figured, you know what? This is a cool song before you go to a Christmas party to listen to. So anyway, Pizzicato 5, From Party to Party. See you tomorrow.